Seeds of Wisdom RV and Economic Updates Tuesday morning, August 19, 25.
Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Good morning. Dinar recaps. U.S. Treasury calls for public comment on Genius stablecoin bill. The U.S. Treasury Department is seeking public input on the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Genius Act, signed into law by President Donald Trump in July. The move is part of a broader effort to strengthen U.S. leadership in digital assets while addressing illicit finance risks tied to crypto. Treasury has invited individuals and organizations to submit comments by October 17. Feedback should focus on innovative methods to detect and mitigate illicit activity involving digital assets. Areas of particular interest include anti-money laundering strategies, APIs and blockchain monitoring tools, artificial intelligence applications, digital identity verification. Treasury officials will compile and review the public responses before submitting formal reports to the Senate Banking Committee and House Financial Services Committee. Secretary Bessent. Essential step for U.S. leadership. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent described the consultation process as essential for implementing the Genius Act and securing American leadership in the digital asset sector. The law requires the Treasury and Federal Reserve to finalize regulations before full implementation. Under the timeline, the Genius Act will take effect 18 months after being signed, July 2025, or 120 days after final regulations are published, whichever comes first. Political and regulatory timing. The timing suggests that enforcement of the Genius Act will not overlap with the 2026 midterm elections, reducing the likelihood of the law being used as a campaign issue. Broader crypto legislation efforts. The Genius Act was one of three major bills advanced during Republicans' Crypto Week in July. Genius Act establishes a regulatory framework for stable coins digital asset market. Clarity Act aims to provide clearer rules for digital asset markets. Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act pushes back against a government-issued central bank digital currency. The House of Representatives passed all three with bipartisan support. The Senate Banking Committee has indicated it will prioritize crypto market structure, aiming to advance its own version of the Clarity Act by October. Tether appoints former White House Crypto Council head Bo Hines as U.S. strategy advisor. Stablecoin leader Tether, USDT, has appointed Bo Hines, the former executive director of the White House Crypto Council, as its strategic advisor for digital assets and U.S. strategy. The move marks a major step in Tether's push to establish a regulated presence in the U.S. under the new pro-crypto administration. Bo Hines brings Washington insider experience. Hines, a Yale-trained attorney and former GOP congressional candidate, played a central role in shaping U.S. crypto policy. At the White House, he helped secure passage of the Genius Act, creating a federal framework for stablecoins. He also organized a high-level digital assets summit connecting industry leaders with government officials. After 7 months in government service, Hines stepped down in early August before moving to the private sector. Why the appointment matters for Tether. Tether has long operated outside the U.S. regulatory framework. By adding Hines, the company gains a direct connection to U.S. policymakers' expertise in navigating Washington's legislative and regulatory processes. Strategic positioning to launch a U.S. compliant stablecoin under the Genius Act. Tether CEO Paulo Ardoino confirmed that U.S. expansion plans are well underway, calling Hines's appointment a pivotal step toward meeting institutional and regulatory standards in the world's largest market. Tether's market position. Tether issues USDT, the world's largest stablecoin. Circulating supply exceeds $166 billion, according to the block's data dashboard. The company's U.S. strategy signals its ambition to transition from operating on the regulatory margins to becoming a fully integrated player in the American financial system. Ripple backs Gemini's IPO filing with $75M credit line, RLUSD option included. Ripple has emerged as a key backer of Gemini's upcoming IPO, providing the exchange with a $75 million credit line that could expand to $150 million. The deal also introduces Ripple's new stablecoin, RLUSD, as a borrowing option once the initial facility is tapped. Ripple extends $75 million credit line to Gemini, with potential to reach $150 million in RLUSD. As a borrowing option, Gemini files for IPO under ticker GEMI, aiming to become the third U.S. crypto exchange to go public. The exchange reported a $282.5 million net loss in H1 2025, highlighting steep financial headwinds ahead of listing. RLUSD inclusion signals Ripple's ambition to challenge Tether, USDT, and Circle, USDC, in the stablecoin market. Gemini's IPO plans Gemini, which plans to list on Nasdaq under the ticker GEMI, disclosed the agreement with Ripple as part of its long-anticipated public offering. The move positions Gemini to become the third crypto exchange to go public in the U.S., following Coinbase, 2021. And Bullish, 2025. However, Gemini's filing also revealed significant financial challenges. A $282.5 million net loss in H1 2025, up nearly sevenfold from last year. Revenue sliding to $67.9 million, down from $74.3 million in the same period of 2024. Ripple's credit facility terms under the agreement with Ripple Labs, Gemini can borrow in tranches of at least $5 million. Pay interest rates of 6.5% or 8.5%, with collateral required. Once borrowing surpasses $75 million, loans can be denominated in RLUSD, providing Ripple's new stablecoin a direct entry into U.S. exchange infrastructure. No funds have been drawn yet, but the inclusion of RLUSD underscores Ripple's push to compete with USDT and USDC, which dominate the stablecoin market. For Gemini, the facility provides fresh liquidity at a critical moment, as investor scrutiny intensifies ahead of its IPO. Wall Street giants back Gemini IPO. The deal is being led by major Wall Street banks, including Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, Cantor Fitzgerald, with Academy Securities and AmeriVet Securities acting as co-managers. Investor appetite for crypto listings is strong. Circle's IPO, June 2025, saw shares surge nearly 10x from its $31 offering price before settling at $149. Bullish's IPO earlier this week more than tripled from $37 to nearly $70 on its first trading day. Several other firms, including OKX, Grayscale, and Kraken, are also considering public offerings. Meanwhile, listed giants like Coinbase and MicroStrategy have hit multi-year highs. Policy shift fuels IPO wave. The IPO momentum comes amid a regulatory climate increasingly favorable to digital assets. Since President Trump's return in January 2025, the SEC has dropped most cases against crypto firms. The administration has advanced a pro-crypto agenda, including an executive order urging regulators to remove barriers preventing 401k retirement plans from including crypto assets. Potential reforms that could allow millions of Americans to allocate retirement savings into Bitcoin and other digital assets through regulated channels. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.